Hey, what's going on? I'm making this video specifically for those people who think that they can't start in a new niche without case studies, without testimonials, and they kind of shoot themselves in the foot and they sabotage before actually giving him a proper chance to, succeed in a new niche. And for those who think that they need thousands upon thousands of dollars, starting early capital, and months, if not years, to, get to 10 clients. And our experience this year, earlier in March, was we started in a completely new niche, med spa, super saturated, burned industry, and we got 10 clients in less than 30 days. Yes. And so I'll preface this by saying that it's absolutely possible to leverage someone else's case studies. If you have friends who have case studies, by all means, more power to you. What a lot of SMMAs do is they hire a media buyer. And if you do lead gen, if your service is lead gen or appointment setting, then you can leverage their case studies, right? I'm here to tell you that you don't have to, and that you probably shouldn't do, because first, you're creating overhead by hiring a media buyer, and second of all, and this is really not about saving money, it's about staying across the process from start to finish, and also not being disingenuous. Why pretend that you have case studies that you don't, when at the end of the day, when you come face to face with a prospect and you speak to them, they'll be able to see right through you, right? If you don't know what you're talking about. In fact, this is basically what this video is about. I'll break down the numbers, I'll break down the strategies, and also the mindset shifts, right? And the number one is that if you lead with conviction and with clarity, and you've done your homework and you understand your numbers, your process, and you can show that conviction to a prospect, the question of testimonials, of case studies, is not even going to come in discussion. And this is personal experience, literally from our first booked appointment, from the very first leads that we generated for ourselves for acquisition in MedSpa, okay? And so there are three main methods that we still use to date to build agencies from the ground up. One of them is ads. Unsurprisingly, I'm the biggest fan of that one. Then there is DM outreach automation. You can do it on all social media platforms. The key there is obviously to do it automatically, because you need to spam crazy numbers. And there is a bit of tech stack involved there as well. So don't think that is necessarily cheaper than ads. If it's cheaper in terms of money, it certainly isn't cheaper in terms of time, but that is one method. And the other one is email outreach in mass, again, with its own affiliated necessary tech stack. Now, we prefer ads, and we can make ads work even in saturated niches, especially where the demand far outstrips, the supply far outstrips supply, right? Or at least it matches it, because it's a growing market, it's a growing niche. As long as the niche is growing faster than new talent flocks into the niche, then I think you should still absolutely go for it. Where the smoke, there's fire, okay? And so the key is to make an offer that they can't resist. It goes without saying. The key is the offer. 90% of the success of a campaign is the offer. And the other 10% is how quickly you can get your prospects to understand it. And I'll explain that right now. Fundamentally, the vehicle that carries your offer is your media, whether it's the ads, the email, the DM, right? And then the offer is what you're actually going to do for that client. And the risk reversal, the whole thing, you've read it in Alex Hormozzi's book, $100 million offers, right? And so if you have a crazy offer, like we'll work for free, we'll work on performance, we'll start with no upfront cost, but you take 2 minutes to get to that in a video, then the offer is only as good as the ad, and the ad is bad, right? And so in those cases, we recommend using statics, recommend using images, using banners. The very first ads that we ran, and now I'm going to dive into the offer, is the very first ads had banners on them. Right. And so our offer was, we're going to start from $1. We're going to get you 20, 30 booked patients in your calendar that show up, and you only pay us on performance. This offer is pretty prevalent right now in our niche and in many other niches. We've seen it around a lot in the last 6 months. But when we started it 9 months, 10 months ago, it really wasn't really done much, or at least we didn't see it. And it was definitely a new opportunity, a new performance deal for a niche that was so saturated and so burned and churned by marketing industries, which is to be seen and read as sophisticated. The market is sophisticated means it's seen all the claims, it's heard all the stories, it's seen all the case studies, and actually it's probably in your advantage that they have seen the case studies and the testimonials, because they won't want to see others, right? They won't want another death by PowerPoint pitch presentation. And so what I was saying about the ad itself is the ad had banners on it. $1 to get started, no fees, no retainer, pay on performance. We tried statics with the exact same spiel, just You'll see them in the ads library right now if you look around. And if you're wondering how people make it work, well, they make it work because, first of all, the numbers downstream change dramatically when you run these kinds of offers. Your cost per lead drops, your cost per appointment that shows up drops, and your cost to acquire a new customer drops significantly, right? And all you got to do then, and I know all you got to do there, is actually perform for them, actually get the results. And you want to get the results because you want to learn how to perform in a new niche. So don't be afraid to learn in a new niche. That is actually why you need to get 10 clients or even more quickly, because you want to correct and basically solve for any anomalies and blips in clients. Let's say you're dealing with a tough client in a tough market. Maybe the client doesn't know what they're doing. Maybe the market is messed up because there's been other competitors of theirs promoting the same offers. Whatever reasons there are that prevent you from getting results for one client, and you won't get results for all clients no matter what you do, is going to be harder to it's going to be harder to figure out what's going on wrong there at the beginning. Especially, it's just going to be better to have more clients so that you can start recognizing patterns, and so you can get results in some place, and that's going to combat the lack of potentially confidence and reassurance in yourself and in your abilities to get results. It's much better to have 4 clients who like you and appreciate what you do for them than to have and 4 or 5 who are maybe like potentially sucking really bad at the beginning, than to just have like 2 or 3 or God forbid 1, and you flop it with that client and you are screwed, right? You just want to give up, throw the baby with the bathwater, okay? And so yeah, that's basically it. Wow, I've covered quite a bit in this one little ramble, but just to keep things a bit more organized, you can basically start with a heavily discounted offer. You can start with a money back guarantee. You don't need to make any more bolder claims than that. Money back guarantee, satisfaction guarantee, and a discounted beginner rate is enough to get your foot in the door. Or you can do a pure performance, pay us on leads that we generate, pay us on appointments. Those tend to get people in very smoothly. And you don't need to overcomplicate it. You don't need to be afraid about refunds. Most people never ask for the money back, even if you don't get the results exactly the way you promised to them, provided that you don't actually outright screw them over. You don't onboard them, you don't talk to them, you don't give them reassurance, confidence. We've never had anyone ask for their money back, even if in rare instances they didn't get the appointments that we promised them through, I want to say, no fault of our own. Arguably, it's always your responsibility. But sometimes, no matter what you try, no matter what you do, how many ads, how many creatives, how many statics, videos, offers, targeting, anything you try, it just won't work. And at some point, the client's probably going to have to count their losses. They're not going to want to continue running ads into things that are not proven. At that point, they can ask for a refund. They can ask for an extension. They can ask for a discount on the rate. Work with them, and don't assume that it's all or nothing. No results or full outright refund. Yeah. Okay, now the big question is, do you need to do this? Do you need to even give guarantees in the first place? And the answer to that is, look at the market, study your competitors. Are other competitors of yours in the niche offering the discount? Are they offering the performance deals? Are they offering the guarantees? If they do, it'll be hard for you not to. It won't be impossible. The metric that you look at is your cost per lead and is your CAC, your cost to get a new client. They will go up. It doesn't mean it's impossible. And sometimes you will want to stomach those higher costs to acquire new customers simply because they tend to be better clients. They tend to be more committed. They tend to be less of a headache, less of a pain in the ass. But at the beginning, you can't be picky. Beggars can't be choosers. I don't recommend you be picky at the beginning. Sign anyone and everyone, because you need the lessons and you need the numbers and you need momentum. So at least at the beginning, you don't need to worry about qualified costs per show up, because as long as they're in your niche, as long as they do your service, as long as they're fit in that respect, then you don't really care about how financially qualified they are. They just need to afford to pay you on the performance, on the results that you're going to generate. And that's going to drop your CAC, okay? Now, what I would say not to do is do not pay for their ad spend. Not yet, at least. We have seen horror stories of SMMAs who pay for the ad spend for their clients and they never actually recoup that. Don't do it yet, not when you don't have any experience. Once you know your metrics, once you know the kind of cost per lead you can expect to get with their B2C, if you're doing B2C for them, results or their cost per appointment, then you'll be able to do it. And actually at that point, you might be benefiting from doing that. You might be able to find an arbitrage opportunity where, say, you charge them 2 to 5K for a performance deal, and you pay for their ad spend and for a fixed number of leads or for a fixed number of appointments, full knowing that there's actually going to be a difference between how much they pay you and how much those actually cost you, and you basically pocket that difference. Of course, the opposite can happen. The flip side can happen where you end up being a bit out of pocket, putting a bit of money into cover for that shortfall in performance. But either way, that's the kind of decision you're only going to be able to do once you are fully enmeshed in your niche and you understand your numbers. So it's kind of a high risk at the beginning. And another high risk play at the beginning is to work on pure profit when it's, and the lesson here, the rule of thumb here is if it's directly in your control, aka leads that you generate with your efforts, booked appointments that you generate with your calling abilities or your call center that's hired by you, then you can charge based on the outcome. If some of it falls under their remit, such as back-end sales, the appointments that you generate, they convert and then you make money of that, then that is technically not directly in your control. It is indirectly in your control because you can still coach them, you can still give them systems to make sure that they convert, but there's that middleman, and that middleman adds another layer of risk, and that's why I would stay away from that as well at the beginning. Okay, cool. Now, in terms of your acquisition, if you're going to go down the ads route, and I would highly encourage you to do that because it builds character, it builds grit and stomach, to appetite for risk, right? Do not drive outside of Facebook straight away. Do not drive leads outside of Facebook straight away. Use lead forms. Why? Because you can have pixel issues. Your pixel might not be seasoned. They might not be trained. You're going to run to a landing page. And first of all, Facebook tends to penalize you for taking people out of the platform. They expect it, but the reality is that when you run lead form ads, they stay in that environment on Facebook and you get the lead, right? This is all about friction distribution. The counter side of this is that the moment they opt in as a lead, then they have to go on the thank you page of that form, then to say, click on this button to go and book an appointment. That's when they have to leave Facebook to book the appointment. And fewer are actually going to do that. And that's fine because you have their contact information and you can call them, and that's about friction distribution. And that brings me to my next point, which is do not optimize for booked appointments straight away. Optimizing for a booked appointment right out the gate, straight from an ad, is a big ask. For someone to just see a minute video ad and then to book an appointment, it's a big ask. Instead, ask them for the minimum thing that they have to do, that they can do, which allows you to be in contact with them, which is to get their phone number, to get their email, their company email. Be mindful that if you're going to introduce qualification questions in these leads, that's going to increase the cost per lead as well. So try and keep the lead qualification to the minimum. None. First name, phone number, and if you want, email as well, just to begin with, right? Once you get those leads, when you start calling them, you start realizing if there's any issues, if you really absolutely need to put some friction in there, but unless you have to, don't, because you want to make it so that it's only the creative and the audience that are the only variables that you need to play with, and those two are already sufficient because you still don't know, is it the audience or is it the creative that's not working if you're not getting leads, if you're not getting booked appointments. And so leave it so that those are the only two variables. Make sure that you can get your cost per lead to something manageable, and I'll give you the metrics to expect in a second, and basically work your way up from there, right? So first, leads in a lead form with minimum qualification, fix your targeting, fix your creative, and then start moving away from leads to straight to booked appointments into a landing page as opposed to the lead form with qualification criteria that only allows the qualified leads to book the appointment. Okay, that's the normal way to do this. Friction and then friction after flow. Okay, in terms of targeting, the best way to do it is to download the list. We downloaded lists from D7. You can download them from any other list aggregator. You can scrape your own. You can borrow a friend if you have one. Up to you. You want a lookalike list to be built off of that. A 1% lookalike list is more than enough with a new ad account. Don't go broad, don't go with interest targeting because it's probably not going to work. It's not going to get you qualified leads, even if the CPMs are going to be lower. The cost for 1,000 impressions, you know that. And so you do need a list to start with. You can buy a list for $50, so don't overcomplicate that either. And And if you need the list, then just message us. We have tons of lists in tons of niches for all of our clients. We'll be able to provide that for you at no cost. Cool. Now, when it comes to your process, like I said, you want to minimize the friction. You want to be calling every single lead, and you want to call them ASAP. Speed to lead is key. If your speed to lead is key, then you're going to get 80% pickup rates on first dial. That's exactly what you want. Book them straight away. Don't wait. Book them, start the discovery, start the selling straight on the phone. That's why you should never outsource your leads dialing at the beginning. You call your leads, you start discovering over the phone, you book them in for a quick face-to-face in a Google Meet. You you change the environment straight away and you close them there and then. With a performance deal, if they're fast and if they want to take action quickly, there should be no reason why you shouldn't be able to close them on that very same day. Okay. And close them on performance, onboard them right away. You can onboard a new client in 1 hour max, just get access to their ad accounts. If you're going to use their ad account, and I recommend you do that at the beginning. That's another video for another time. And buy a number for them if you're going to do appointment setting for them, and get that number verified with the major phone carrier companies. That should take now 1 day. It used to take a week. Then they fast-tracked it to 3 days. At the minute, it takes 1 day. So there's no reason for you not to be live with ads for these guys within 1 day. Forget 10 days onboardings and all that. Leave that for big agencies that are already systematized and who have the manpower and the operational drag. You're not there. You need to move fast, especially because you're only making money once they're making money. Okay. So now that being said, money. Well, that's the big topic. How much money do you actually need for this? You can start ads for as low as $20 a day. I recommend starting on 40, 50 a day, so you can actually get those leads fast. And if your speed to lead is great, you can get a cost per show up at about $100, maybe even less. And your cost per lead should be around $15 to $20, depending on the niche. It's pretty standard to begin with, when there's no friction, when you're not too sure about how qualified they are. 100% show up because you're going to call them straight away. And so your cost per show up shouldn't be higher than $100. And with this irresistible offer, you should be closing 1 in 2, 1 in 3. If your cost of acquisition is higher than $200, then that's fine. You're just going to need to spend a bit more to get those 10 clients. But roughly speaking, in a saturated niche, in a saturate-ish niche with a good performance deal, with good enough conviction on sales and robust process, you can get clients for about $200. And what do I mean by robust process? I mean, if you don't have case studies, and you won't have a process video. I'll tell you our experience. Our very first appointment, I recognized pretty rapidly that she had worked with multiple agencies before. It's something you definitely want to check straight away. And because of that, I actually played it in our advantage. I said, look, I'm not going to pull up a presentation and bore you with slides that you've probably seen 100 times before. And she laughed and she said, yeah, I don't want to see it. And that was great because I didn't have one anyway. I didn't have case studies. I didn't have anything prepared. I had process. The process is drilled in my head by now, and I can speak through it pretty confidently, and you should be able to as well. Even the process is not that complicated. We're going to run ads. We're going to get leads. We're going to qualify them. We're going to call them. We're going to book them in. We're going to collect their deposits. You pay us when they come, and if they shop. If they don't, you don't pay us. Simple as that. When can you get started? Okay. And you can aim for 2 to 3 leads a day for your acquisition. Expect to follow up with them for up to a week. And so by the 7th day, you're going to have a back end of about 14, 20 leads in your pipeline. Call these leads 2-3 times a day, book them in, close them up. You can absolutely get 10 closes in 30 days or less. You can do it in 10 days if you really go ham on spend. You're probably not going to do that at the beginning, but if you do, more power to you. And so all in all, back to end, it's going to take you about $200 a day on average over 10 days, 2K. You can spread it over 30 days, 2K in ad spend, no other costs. You have your 10 clients. Who can get clients that fast, right? If you go from 0 to 10 clients in less than 30 days, most of your friends are going to look at you as the guy. And so that is kind of how you do it. And remember, close everyone. It does not matter how qualified they are, because you have no experience. You don't have the right to work with those highly qualified clients yet. And you're gonna, if you lose them, wouldn't you rather lose a client that you paid peanuts to acquire than a massive one, right? And also you will learn heaps about markets, about offers, about ads, process, and you need this experience because this is what's gonna pay you back tenfold. This is the kind of stuff that's gonna consolidate the base of a good product. And when you have that good product, when you know where to hire good talent, when you know how to manage that talent, when you know the software stack that you need, when you know your back-end processes like the back of your hand, then you're going to be able to make offers and guarantees that no one else is going to be able to, and you're going to be winning in the long term. And so if you deliver results, and you absolutely can and you should, you will make a profit. You can charge $80 to $100 per booked appointment. It really depends on the niche. Be savvy with this pricing. We charge the cost of the first appointment. We're trying to get them to a point where they break even on the first appointment, in full understanding that they will make money on that first appointment, but we won't make much either, right? We make money on continuity with them. We're incentivized to keep them past this trial, this performance trial thing, which by the way can be like 2-3 weeks, and they're incentivized to upsell those clients into high ticket to cover their ad spend and to make the profit. And it's such an easy sell for them as well, because they only need one close to generate 5K, 20K, depending on the niche, depending on how high ticket their services really are. And you need to get them 10 appointments like that in order to have a client who then is going to upsell into a 2K retainer, 3K retainer, 4K retainer, we've seen even. But before you even worry about making a hefty profit, just realize that actually you can minimize your loss and your risk here, because really you only need 20 booked appointments to cover your 2K in ad spend. 20 booked appointments for 10 clients is more than manageable, especially in just think about the numbers. If you have 10 clients who each spend $20-$30 a day in ads, you're managing about $3,000 in their ad spend. If you're generating appointments for them for $100 per booked appointment, which is the industry average, know your industry averages, know what your industry is kind of capable of so that you know what to expect. Don't expect to beat the market, aim to match the market at the beginning. And that should give you breathing room, because now you realize that you can actually generate 20 to 30 appointments very comfortably for these 10 clients. And that's going to make you your money back, and you're not going to be out of pocket. That's going to be giving you breathing room and confidence to go into this thing with full conviction. And that's basically it in a nutshell. That's how you think about these things if you want to go fast, lighting fast, and basically leave your competition and anyone who doesn't think about this with numbers, calculated spreadsheet, formulaic approach, and they bring in emotions and all kinds of like stories into this. Hope this is helpful to your success. Rooting for you, and I'll be seeing you around. Bye.